Hey, I'm Judy Larson, director of the Westmont Ridley-Tree Museum of Art, and today we're going to be doing Suiseki presentations in our special Art from Home with the Westmont Ridley-Tree Museum of Art. So I bet some of you are wondering, Suiseki, that sounds like a Japanese word. You're absolutely right. Suiseki are stones that create pictures. So maybe you can see this stone and you might find a tree. That's what I see on both sides, actually, a winter tree. I'm going to give you a little history of Suiseki in Japan. It starts in the 7th century. That was a long time ago. Actually, possibly even earlier in China, between 592 to 626, when the empress in Japan received a gift from the Chinese imperial court. She liked them so much that she started collecting stones in Japan. Stones are often changed in China by cutting them, drilling holes, maybe throwing them into the river for a decade so they get real ornate. But the Japanese have much stricter rules. Stones must be found in nature. They cannot be changed in any significant way. And you find either a picture or a landscape or something that makes you meditate when you look at that stone. The samurai, who were the warrior class, came into power during the Kamakura period. That was about 1183. And these warriors practiced the religion Zen Buddhism. And the stones became even more admired in this period because warriors used those stones to meditate and pray. The popularity of collecting suiseki grew over the centuries in Japan, and today it is esteemed worldwide. So what is a suiseki? It is a shaped rock found in nature. Some shapes might look like a landscape. Others have veinings that look like a drawing. Others have color. It might have an abstract design or a pattern, a texture. All of them are aesthetically pleasing to look at, either for color, pattern, or shape. Most should have a flat bottom because they're going to have a best side for viewing them. These stones are also called scholar's stones. They are important in Asian culture for relaxation, for meditation, and for prayer. And they don't have to actually represent something, they just need to suggest something to the viewer who's looking at the stones. Okay, so when you start looking for stones, use your imagination. Turn it upside down, turn it over, turn it to the right, the left, and what do you see? A mountain, a fish, a boat? Maybe it's simply a beautiful color or an organic shape or a swirling pattern. That's okay too. The stone is for you to think about. So find your own shapes. Know how you feel when you look at this stone. Someone else might see something else, and that's okay. Suiseki is about what you see. Traditional Japanese suiseki have categories of subjects. So this list might help you when you take your walks to start collecting the stones. So one of the categories is a distant mountain. This is as though you were standing far away and looking at the mountain. Or you could have a near view mountain. It's as though the mountain were right in front of you and you're about to take a hike into that mountain. Peaks or rugged mountains are always very dramatic. This one even has a waterfall in it. Waterfalls is another category. This is an incredible stone. Look at that waterfall falling down to the right of the image. A mountain pool or a stream is another category. On the left, we have sort of dark black water, and on the right, the white water. Snow-capped mountain. These are amazing stones. They suggest snow on top of a mountain, melting snow. Huts are another category, and huts can either be huts in nature or just a hut by itself, seen up close. Boats. Two of these look like boats because of their shape, and the third one actually looks like a drawing of a boat on the rock. They both qualify as boat stones. Plateau stones look like a geological formation in nature. Can you see the plateaus? There are several in the one on the left and one plateau on the one on the right. Bridges, these are fun. Or islands, and sometimes you can Enhance the illusion of an island by putting sand around your stone so it really looks like an island surrounded by water. The shore, can you see the waves crashing up on these two stones? And animals, this is a favorite topic of mine, but these are hard to find. But I hope you see an elephant, a bird, a lion, a toad, and a hen who might be nesting. Fish is a popular category. Here we have some kind of a dragonfish or a snake, a water snake, and to the right we have a swimming fish. The human figure, the one in the middle looks like a Japanese woman, maybe someone praying there on the left. And look at the picture of the one on the right. It's almost as though a woman is sitting out in nature. I like the ones on the bottom left. These were actually found at a local dry creek bed. They just look like silly faces. You can do all kinds of things from nature, like plants, trees, leaves. Can you see the forms here in these three stones? Or flowers. These are incredible flower stones. Or a tree in blossom. Or maybe a weather pattern might suggest something, maybe a lightning storm or a sandstorm. Or look in the upper right-hand corner, a moonstone. Those are fun to find. Abstract, it doesn't have to represent anything. This one is called tiger stripes. Or pit marked. Or sometimes it's just an abstract design that just looks beautiful, swirling lines, light and dark. You can find stones for their colors. Here's some amazing colors for stones. Here's more colors, mixed colors. So where do you find your stones? I would suggest that you take a hike with the family, maybe try riverbanks or dry creek beds. The desert's a great place. The beach, right here in Santa Barbara, the beach is a wonderful place to find good stones. Or you can even look in your own backyard and see what you have. If you do go to a state park or a city park, make sure to ask the ranger if it's okay to take a stone with you. Most of the time they'll say yes, but sometimes you'll find there are restrictions. So I hope looking at those images got you excited. And now you could go out and find your own stones. And use your imagination. They're out there. You can find them. They're not as easy to find as you might think, but have fun doing it. Once you have 3 or 4 stones, let's come back and pick up again, and I'll show you how you can present your suiseki in a suey bon, on a presentation dish with sand or stones around it, on a piece of driftwood. There's a lot of ideas on how to present a suiseki. So I hope you found some great stones. It's kind of fun, isn't it, to walk on the beach and pick up stones and turn them every direction and see what you got. I wanted to share a few stones that I found. Starting with this stone, I found it in a riverbank, and I just liked it because it had these wonderful stripes. And look, a nice flat bottom. This stone I found at the beach, and I liked it because it seems to have winter trees on 2 sides. I thought that was terrific. This was kind of special. It looks to me like a snow-peaked mountain that comes down maybe to the ocean. So even though it's very small, it's like a little seascape landscape. Some of the ones I found were just because they had great color. These 2 stones are just wonderful red. And this one I'm going to show you. I'm going to dip it in water. And you probably found this if you walked at the beach or by a creek. Look how vibrant and rich that red gets when you dip it in water. I'll dip both of them in water. These red stones, what a great color. I'm not sure what to do with this one. I'll wet it up so you can see it. It just was a fun stone because look, 2 colors on both sides. And I personally like composite stones. And this is one, it might be a little hard to see, but it's all kinds of banded stones that creates a wonderful pattern. This one really looks nice when it's wet too. You can see the contrast so much better. It's got a little pop of red right there. I like that. So let's talk about the various ways that you can display a suiseki. Probably the most common is a daiza. This little stone is in a daisa. It's a carved wooden base, carved to fit that stone exactly. It's a hard thing to learn. So if you really get into Suiseki, I think you could learn to carve a daisa, but we're not going to do that today. I just wanted you to be able to see that. Today, I'm going to make with you some suibans, which are the flat base that have sand in them where the stone is set. Now, you can use ceramic, you can use whatever you have. I actually think that these takeaway little plastic tubs work really well for a suiban. So hopefully you have some of these set aside. That would be terrific. I happen to find this. It's like a little Lazy Susan, and it's sort of the perfect size. So that's what I'm going to use. But let's look historically at what the daisa is. It's a carved wooden mount for your stone, and it fits perfectly. It can be large or small. The suiban is usually ceramic. We're going to be using plastic today. And the doban would be a metal tray that holds the stone. You can get creative, as I said, by using driftwood. I thought this piece of driftwood, I actually found a red stone where the driftwood, it just sort of fits perfectly into there. So that would be a really easy way to display your stone. You can do lacquered boards, stone slabs, bamboo, or reed mats. I have one here. This is an easy way to do it. It's just like a little silk pillow, and it's filled with maybe rice, and the stone fits right on top of it, and that's a great way to display your suiseki. So we're going to do the suiban today. So get your waterproof container, and what we're going to do is clean the sand. So I actually got just beach sand because it's very fine and I think it's perfect. But if you've ever brought home some sand from the beach, it has all kinds of little stuff, little shell pieces, and so we're going to just sift it. Now you can use a piece of screen. You could. I'm using just a sifter that came out of our crafts room, and it really, see how it gets out the leaves and the debris. You don't want that in your sand. And just take as much as you think you're going to need for the size of your suiban. So the debris, that we throw away. The clean sand, I'm going to empty it into my suiban tray. Now you can see it isn't very smooth, so you can start with your hand, but your hand is going to leave some marks in it. And because this is a Lazy Susan, I can move it around and kind of rake it around with my fingers to make it as even as possible. What you also can do, you could take a wooden spoon, you could take just about anything you have and start getting all the ridges out of your clean sand. Let's take this stone that I found. And typically you don't put it smack in the center because suiseki is asymmetrical, or it looks best when it's asymmetrical. So maybe I'll just put it right off to the side here and kind of bury it in the sand. And now I have to go back with my little brush and even everything out around that piece. And if you don't like what you've done, it's very easy just to pick it up and start over again and find a better look for your suiseki. And it doesn't have to be sand. Can you see this stone here? I've actually used just pumice here. And it kind of picks up the color in this stone, which looks great from both sides. And I just put it into a plastic tub. Sui means stone and seki means water. And so if you wanted to, you can finish this off by spraying some water. It makes the sand go a little bit flatter, and it brings out the contrast in your stone. And then put this out in the sun or let it dry. If your stone looked really great when you picked it up out of the ocean, but you brought it home and it sort of dried to a dull color. You can always take a little bit of Vaseline, olive oil, any kind of oil will work, and just use your hands and rub the stone. And see how this one, now you can see the red and green so much better. But what you need to do, you can put this out in the sun for an hour and it'll really seal that oil. But when it comes back in, just polish it up a little bit with a clean cloth, and the colors look so much better with a little bit of Vaseline or olive oil on them. So I think it's a fun thing to do, and I hope you found some great stones, and I hope you'll send in some pictures, because I'd love to see what it is you found when you made your Suiseki.